Hello and welcome back to Strongman High's Life is a Mishmash. Today we have the absolute natty powerhouse in the under 73 Masters, Suzanne Reynolds, joining the pod.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I am good. Not as recovered as I'd like to be, but I'm good.
Perfect. Well, we are fresh off of UK's. That was last weekend. So we're going to do a little bit of a comp review of that and then obviously go into Suzanne's highs and lows. But first of all, Suzanne, do you want to give us a brief elevator pitch introduction to you, what you're all about?
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'm Suzanne. I am grand age of 47. I compete in the under 73 lightweight masters. I am a midwife working in a specialist midwifery team in the NHS. And yeah, my hobby is strongman. Well, it has been for the last, well, not quite 3 years, actually. I've
Amazing.
done all sorts of stuff before then. But yeah, so for the last 3 years, it's been my hobby has been strongwoman.
Amazing. Give us a little bit of a brief introduction of how you got into Strongwoman then.
Oh, well, the brief one is cancer.
Oh,
Um,
oh my God. Wasn't expecting that.
no. Um, yeah, so I am one of the I do have a sort of sporty background, sort of post uni. Really came back from uni, played rugby. So like a lot of us, played rugby for about I don't know, what, 8 years, something like that. So I dislocated my knee. But I also, when I ran as well, so I'd play rugby in the winter, ran in summer, then sort of went down the running route, did half marathons, marathons, a couple of ultra marathons. Got into, well, I did a bit of MMA, a bit of Thai boxing, got into pole fitness, so some pole, and then CrossFit, and was doing pole and CrossFit, not competitively or anything for anything, just for fun. And when I turned 40, I did a couple of obstacle course races with my hubby. Came home from one of them, was in the bath and thought, oh, that's a bit odd. That's a lump I've never felt in my life before, on my boob, and got it checked out. And it turned out, yeah, got stage 2 breast cancer.
Oh, God.
So that sort of was a bit of a shocker. Not a present I expected for my 40th birthday
Yeah.
year, to be perfectly honest. So had 2 lots of surgery, had some radiotherapy as well, and got put into a medically induced menopause.
Oh,
Um,
God.
at this time, I reached out to a fabulous charity and then got a London Marathon place at the same time. So I started my radiotherapy at the same time I started my London Marathon training.
Amazing. That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
Then COVID struck, but along this journey, the medication that I was put on for the medically induced menopause was really awful,
Yeah.
really awful. Um, and it affected my mental health massively, but also how I was feeling sort of strength wise, what I could do. My endurance was not the same, my strength was not the same. And I had gone back, I sort of had a couple of weeks off and then went straight back to CrossFit.
Mm.
Um, but I ended up, because of COVID as well, I had quite a bad frozen right shoulder. So
Yeah.
my right shoulder has never been the same since those surgeries. I still got really poor movement. It's better than it ever was, but still quite bad. But yeah, so the long short of it was, I thought, well, I need to change what I'm doing. Did loads of research around menopause, and I was like, oh, I need to do strength training. Endurance is clearly not the way forward anymore. I did a high rocks as well. I was like, yes, I burnt out like I've never known. So I thought, yeah, I clearly need to do something a little bit different here. CrossFit gym that I went to had started a powerlifting class. So started powerlifting. So changed my routine around a little bit. So did CrossFit, running, powerlifting. Thought, oh, I really, really like this. I'm getting a bit stronger, quite happy, really enjoying life. And then yeah, thought I need to do more of this. Came off the tamoxifen because that really wasn't suiting me, but carried on with the strength training because I was like, no, this is the way forward. I need to do more of this. And then sort of did a little bit, dabbled in a different gym. I am a gym whore. I do tend to go to different gyms to get equipment or whatever it is you need. So I went to another one because I'm not, don't stand still for very long. Um, yeah, so I went to a different gym because they were doing sort of strength classes and high roxy, not high roxy stuff, but a little bit, but they are like a high roxy sort of more gym. And
Mm.
one of the trainers there was has done strongman, and he was getting together a group of a couple of girls to have a go at a novice comp, and went, oh, why don't you have a go? And I was like, oh no, my shoulder, it's still not recovered, da da da. And he was like, well, just give it a go. So I signed up for a novice first timers comp at Ash's
Yeah.
gym, and that was September. Where were we at? 26, so September 23. So we started probably training June 23, and then went to Ash's comp. There were 6 of us at the gym. 3 of us podiumed, which was brilliant. I came first, which was really unexpected. It was lovely.
Amazing.
And he went, just give England's a go next year. And I was like, okay. So yeah, just measure up, see how you get on with everybody. I was like a rabbit in headlights, didn't know what to expect, was absolutely petrified. You were commentating
Yeah.
at that England's, absolutely no idea. Went into the last event of England's that year, and I was in the top. I was like 3rd from top. And I was like, I don't even know how I've got here. And the last one event was the frame hold. And I think I held it for like 2 seconds less than Maria, who came first.
Yeah.
And having only like touched it for about 10 seconds before that in training, came 3rd. And I was like, oh. And I remember standing in the queue and they're like, you'll be going to UKs. And I'm like, no, it's the top, the first of every, it's only 6 places. I'm like, no, it's the first 6 of every category. I'm like, really? Oh, this is very unexpected. So yeah, that's kinda how I got into it. Went to
Amazing.
UK, came 9th, but I was like, "Yeah, I deserve to be 9th because I really have got no idea what the hell I'm doing, whatsoever." I'd signed up for the Here Come the Girls League that year as well, so did that alongside. I was like, "Wow, this is a bit much," but thought, "Ooh, really fancy going to Worlds next year, actually, let's have a go." So then, yeah, Focus last year. And came, yeah, 2nd at England. No, yeah, 2nd at England last year, 1st at UK, 2nd at Worlds. So,
Amazing. Amazing.
yeah.
What a story as well. You're like a treasure trove of sports, you, aren't you? Done a bit of everything. I love
I
it.
I have done a little bit of a lot of things. Yeah, yeah, a little bit of a lot of things. I don't stand still for too long, so the fact that I've been doing this for nearly 3 years is it's quite good, really.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I love the fact that you got that induced like menopause, and then we're like, nah, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna find a way out of this. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
research what I can. And you are right. Like the overarching research is strength training now for menopause, isn't it? It's like the number one thing
yeah,
that everybody needs to be doing. And I love that like that was your journey into it as well. Like it's just so awesome to hear. And what like a comeback story as well from like breast cancer to being like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to go and do Strongwoman and be like, UK world's strongest woman. See you later.
yeah, absolutely. F you, cancer. Absolutely. Yeah,
Fuck yeah. I love that. Super inspiring. I fucking love that. That's so cool. Right. Well, let's talk about then the most
yeah,
recent competition that we've just done. So UK. So
okay.
do you want to give us a little rundown of how you found the events and how it all was, what you thought of the day?
Yeah, so, I really Um, in hindsight, I have to say, I think it's the competition that I am probably the most well-rounded I've been so far, but I still sort of, in my head, I'm still quite a novice with this. I think 3 years, you're still quite young into it, aren't you, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and there was events, the keg, like, never done the keg before. Um, but it's probably the competition I really did not enjoy prepping for the most either. But in hindsight, I think I enjoyed it the
Yeah.
most out of the ones I've done. So, yeah, it was I hate log. I'm not that I hate log. No, it's a Marmite, isn't it?
Yeah.
Log. My overhead is not good. Like I say, because of my shoulder, my overheads really struggle now. Not before my surgery. I was so bloody strong in my upper body. I could climb that pole legless without using my legs, with just my arm
Amazing.
beforehand. So it all went a little bit wrong when I had my surgery. So overhead is not good for me anymore. And the log was my absolute nemesis, I
Yeah.
have to say. And to have the trump of sort of the 60 or the 70 was just like, oh man, I've really got to do something really good.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I really struggled with that. So that was nice to have the two options, but I was really surprised that lots of people didn't go for the heavier.
Yeah, yeah, but then to be
Oh.
fair, that is a heavy weight, like, so you
Mm.
under 73 masters and the weight options was 60 and 70 kilos, like, 70 kilos, you're basically a body weight there, body weight log, like,
You are, but
that's
I mean, I say I'm crap at log. I can actually split jerk just as my body weight. So I
hell
can split
yeah,
jerk 72.5, so I can split jerk my own body weight.
hell
Um,
yeah.
but log is a different beast, isn't it?
Yeah, I do agree, but I think that's, like, heavy
It is
for
heavy.
the, like, lightweight masters, basically. I think that's a heavy option, and as well, like, notoriously, all women struggle with overhead, like, there's, like, every
Mm,
now and then you get a freak, a bit like me, who's just like, but
yeah.
that's because I just don't have I don't have fear. I'm just like,
Mm,
I'm willing to throw anything above my head and hope for the best, but most people, like, that's not a really easy thing to get over, and I think the weights for the women's this year were really good. And I think,
mm,
to be honest, probably on the heavy side. And I think you could see
yeah,
that
yeah.
by the amount of reps that people were doing. Like, there wasn't really more than like 5 or 6 reps, and that was from the chest as well. So, like, that
Mm,
sort of to me says, like, yeah, that was probably about right, but still quite on the heavy side in terms of options.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think, a conversation I had, I mean, overall about weights and stuff, I think it was a heavier comp in some it felt like a heavier competition than some of the others, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe more, like ending with the kegs and you've got 3 really heavy things to do rather than like a sandbag run or,
Yeah.
uh, not really sure. But yeah, there was like Stacey is fabulous, my category fabulous overhead, Wendy fabulous overhead. I know obviously Tatiana had hit like, PB of above 70 in training, but, I know she went for it when she was, doing the under 60, um, fours, but yeah, I expect kind of Wendy or Stacey to come out and be, having a go at the 70, but it wasn't. It was a very much more tactical, I think, in some
Yeah.
ways as well. But, it was phenomenal. I've managed to watch a little bit back. I haven't had a chance to watch lots back.
Yeah.
But yeah, to watch some of the girls and, either struggling or, having a good go, but pacing themselves sort of in maybe a bit more tactical,
Yeah.
like ahead for what's to come. Or yeah, a few girls going, no, no, I'm amazing at this. I'm going to show you what I can do overhead. And really, I thought
Yeah.
a few were like you said. I was like, wow, so I want to be like you. I want my overhead like that, please.
I do think though, I don't know whether it was the setup of the log as well, or where like the ceiling or what it was, or the lighting or something, but I think everybody slightly underperformed on log compared to what they could have done. Because I know I underperformed on that. I was expecting sort of 5 or 6 reps and I only got 3, and I failed a couple of them, and I was like, this is a bit interesting. Like,
Mm,
wasn't expecting this, but I did feel very wobbly and nervous going into that first event. And I think that's like quite a common thing. Like, I feel like everyone was a little bit nervous at the beginning. Like, it was
mm,
a little bit like tense in the warm-ups, wasn't it? When we first went like that first event, everyone was a bit like, oh fucking hell, like what's
yeah,
going on?
I think an opening with an overhead is always you
Difficult.
know, it's always difficult because, it's probably, for most people the least stable that they feel.
Mm,
If you start off in a deadlift, you know where you're at with a deadlift.
yeah,
But you start with an overhead, and I just think it just adds that extra element of uncertainty anyway because of the nerves. So maybe
yeah,
that, you know, the heavier weights and that probably contributed to it. I mean, I was absolutely overjoyed. I've had panic attacks in training recently with log,
oh
quite
no,
literally. quite literally in the middle of a session, I had Chloe Brennan, bless her, I was like, please, I need some help. And she, came down, she coached me through a session. I've had some amazing hypnotherapy with her to get over that, because it's been quite bad.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in the low bit later. And then I've trained at different gyms. So I went down to Ash's because he's got the 50 kilo log, to train on the 50 kilo log, because even there's a 40 at Rhinos, it's still different. The 50, it's still different. And I wasn't getting more than 2 at all. And so for me, even though the 4th rep was just out of time, that was massive. I felt probably the most calm and collected, and probably thanks to Chloe actually, and her wonderful hypnotherapy, kind of going into it with my game plan of what I was going to do, how I was going to do it. And I was just overjoyed. And after that, I was like, I don't really care what happens next, because that, for me, is just the most amazing thing that could have happened all day.
Yeah, class. No, I absolutely love that. It was a good start, I think, to the comp. I think everyone was a bit calmer after that first event. Everyone was like, right, cool, yeah, all good.
Yeah, the room just sort of let out a sigh of relief, and you could see people going, first one's out of the way now. We can move on.
100%. I love that moment after the first event, and everyone's just like, right, now it's game on, let's go. Because before, everyone's just a bit not quite right. Everyone's a bit nervous, a bit like intense, a bit doesn't know what's going on. And then first event, then you're into the proper comp then, aren't you?
Yeah. And I think then, people, and because it's so fast, you've got to give it to Natural Strongman, the speed of those competitions. You don't get time to think. So you are literally, you just like warm up, do your thing. If you've got supporters there, try and find them really quickly, have a quick few minutes chat, grab something to eat, and then you're off to the next thing. So then, there's no time to think, because you are just then moving on and moving on.
No, I totally agree. Yeah. And I do think it ran smooth and fast. It wasn't actually as fast as I was expecting. I thought we'd be done in 3 hours. I don't know why in my head I had like half an hour per event, but it was slightly slower than I'd anticipated it being, but it was still very well ran. I know they were a bit annoyed because I think it had taken them a bit longer than they'd expected as well. But I think that was just with the like load of weird events they had. They had so much set up for a lot of those events and so much going on. And obviously, like the certain events, like the Circus, Dumbbell and Stone, they could only run 2 at a time. So that sort of slowed things down.
I think that was the issue, wasn't it? Because they could only do it 2 at a time. That's what slowed everything down for safety, really.
Yeah, 100%. Whereas like the push, carry and drag, I'd watched a bit of the live stream and I was skipping through bits to try and find like certain people or certain things that I knew had happened. And I just completely missed the push, carry, drag because it literally was over in about 10 minutes. Like it was so fast.
Absolutely. But I think I quite like that one. I like moving events. I'm really quite happy with a moving event. Although the first time I practiced the leg carry drag in, I think about not maybe 20, 30 kilos off comp weight or something. And I didn't know where to put myself. I didn't know, my legs didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to throw up or I needed to just like evacuate from the other end. It was awful. I got cramp. I was like, I can't be having this. This is just going to be awful.
Yeah.
But actually, once I was trained it, and I trained on 2 different types of carpet.
Yeah.
So the concrete, to actually do it on concrete was
so
like,
easy. I agree. I trained it on a grass track and I only did 1 comp run through at like sort of just under comp weight. And it took me like 56 seconds to complete it. And I was blowing by the end. It took me like 10 minutes to recover from just lying on the floor. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. I'm going to hate this in comp. It's going to wreck me. And then on the comp day, like I think most of us were finishing in about 20, 25 seconds. Like it was over and done with. And like, unfortunately, I did fall over, but that's because I hadn't expected to be able to go as fast as I could go. So I literally decked it on the way back and was like, fuck.
I know. I was like, and when you sort of like, what time would I like to do it in? I was like, if we do it under 45 seconds, no, I'd do it like under 30 seconds. But
I know, it's crazy, wasn't it?
I was really, but I did sort of say to my coach, I was like, no, we need to train, because of how much my legs hurt. I was like, I need to do some different speeds, and it's just to make sure that, because you're going to deadlifts after that,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you're not absolutely frazzled
Yeah.
from that to be able your
Absolutely.
legs to work to go then into the deadlift. So it was kind of, making sure you've got that training in your legs to do it. But
100%. Yeah.
I did really enjoy that, and there was one of the girls, and I can't remember her name, and I felt so sorry for when she was pulling it, and the
Oh, yeah. The
leverage
strap
came
came
out.
out.
I was like, "Oh, no.
I
Oh,
saw
that's
that and I was like,
painful."
oh God, what a nightmare. But and to be fair, the minute I saw it, I thought, get hold of the sled. Because I think that
Yeah,
was way easier than all of us expected it to be. It was almost like a bag throw event, wasn't it? Where it actually wasn't that taxing, it wasn't that hard, it
yeah,
was more of a speed event. And literally, when I saw her do it, in my head, I was like, grab the sled, just pull the sled, fuck the
yeah.
strap off. And she didn't. You can see her standing panicking. I was like,
And
no,
what
get hold of the sled,
yeah,
just grab it. But,
yeah.
oh, bless her. Yeah, that was hardcore, that wasn't it? Poor girl.
Yeah, but I think, that one, like you say, we all sort of
Yeah,
flew
yeah.
through that one.
Yeah,
It
it was a
seemed to
lovely,
go.
nice, easy event, wasn't it? Well,
Yeah, it did. And actually then, because, we both appreciate the athlete area and the warm-up area was very snug.
very snug,
Um,
yes.
Very snug. And, for the warm-up for the deadlifts, it was a little challenging.
Yeah,
Um And my another low, which we'll talk about, but because I'd injured my back last year, at the end of last year, I've been doing a lot more sort of longer warm-ups just to get my back warm.
yeah,
And I was like, well, I guess it's just like, I think I did 6 at 100, 3 at 130, a quick pull at 150, and thought that'll have to do. That's
yeah.
it. That's my warm-up. I'm warm enough from the sled. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I think literally I did this exactly the same. I did a single at 120, a single at 140, and a single at 160. And then maybe I did a single at 170 just before we went out. I can't remember. But I did about 3 or 4 singles and I was like, well, that's gonna have to do. Because yeah, it was I think the way that they could have made that better was to have some deadlift warm up in that other area where we'd warmed
Yeah,
up for like the sled. They should have set 2 or
yeah,
3 bars up there for other people to like spread out a bit, because that initial part of the warm up before sort of everyone started going out was bad. It was
yeah,
hard work. And there was only 2 bars set up and
yeah.
it's just not ideal for when there's that many athletes, is there? But
No, and we
um,
didn't, compared to the men, there wasn't that many women,
yeah,
compared to the men.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, and certainly, they were all heavier bars, weren't they? But yeah,
yeah,
I think it could have been another one which would, in the other area, that either was a warm up,
yeah,
so you got like one bar over there that you could do all your light warm ups and whatnot, and then
yeah,
come over into where we were and then do heavy.
yeah,
Maybe, but I appreciate it, it's challenging, and the guys do such a great job of, running these competitions. Sometimes, I guess logistically, they've kinda got an idea in their head when they're looking at a space. Yeah, that'll work, that'll work, that'll work. But then actually when they come to set it all out, maybe it's just not quite as what they hoped or whatever, but it was a little bit, "Ooh, here we go."
yeah, yeah. It was a little bit on
Warm
the
up
fly,
positive, innit?
wasn't it? Yeah, no, I do agree, and I just think it's like you said, like they don't know it until it actually happens, do they? So
Mhm.
and also I do think there's a little part of like people getting ready for comps, like you have to be able to just do warm ups on the fly and like change your warm ups. Like whenever I
Yeah,
warm up for stuff, especially as I'm closing in on a comp, I'll actively stress my warm up. So whether that's do like way less or do like a couple of warm ups and then go and sit for 5 minutes and talk to somebody so that I know I've had that gap, like sort
mm,
of trying to make your warm ups similar to how you're going to have them in comp, because they're never ideal. Like you can never get an
yeah,
ideal warm up in a comp. So if you're planning on doing that, like throw that idea out the window and just like wing it a couple of times in training so that you know you don't need
yeah.
that. But it's tricky to do that, isn't it? But the deadlift on the whole actually was very fun event. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think you did too, didn't you? With like
I was
absolute rep
overjoyed.
fest.
Overjoyed, and I like deadlifting. I do like. Oh, I think I do really like deadlifting. But again, because I'd hurt my back, I was quite apprehensive about that. It took a lot of rehab, and I was just kind of hoping that I could do. Well, originally it was just hoping I could go and get a few reps, or at least get one rep at comp weight because
Yeah.
of how it was. Um, and then like watching all the other girls, and and that's kind of sometimes is a great advantage, isn't it, when you've like come first on a previous event, because you've got that time to watch and see what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And I counted that I think Stacey's doing 9. I was like, oh, okay, let's see. Let's see. And honestly, I started pulling that bar, and I don't even think I've done 4 in training. Um, and I was like, oh, this actually feels okay. All right. Um, Heavy, but okay. And then when they said like 30 seconds gone, I was like, geez, I've done about 5 or 6 by now. And I kind of lost count then. So I came off and had no idea how many I'd done at all. I really didn't. I genuinely lost count at that point, because
Yeah.
I was just, because then I was also like really focused on my body positions. I was like, I do not want to pull my back. I do
Yeah.
not want to be in a position where I'm hobbling off and that's the end of comp. And so then, like, went round, saw my hubby and coach, and he was like, yeah, you got 10 reps. I was like, you what? You what? I was like, I thought in my head I got like 7 or something. And I was like, wow. But yeah, thoroughly stoked. Again, thoroughly stoked.
Yeah.
It definitely, Summit just went really, really well, which I was really, really pleased about. But
Yeah.
again, watching some of the other girls back, and they're getting like, oh, I can't remember. Was it Taylor?
Yeah,
Got
Taylor
like
and Elisha got like 16, 17 reps, didn't they? Which is
ridiculous
just
amounts.
insane.
I mean, that's like my first comp, and we were doing reps at 100, and I think me and Nicola, the girl I was up against, we both got 19 reps at 100 kilos, and you walk off, you're like,
Yeah.
that's me gone.
Yeah,
So they were
100%. Nah,
astounding.
there was some really big numbers. There's some such good deadlifters in the natural scene. Like, it is absolutely insane. But yeah, there was some belter numbers across there. And even I managed not to zero an event.
I know. I did see yours because I was going around, and I
Oh,
did see going round to the Circus Dumbbell. So actually, I got to see some of yours because you were on by the time I'd kind of gone round and was going round to warm up at the other end.
yeah.
I'm
No,
like,
I
well
was
done.
buzzing with that. What? So I'd only ever got 1 in training, and yeah, in my head I was sort of like, oh, you might be good for like 2 or 3 here if you're sensible with it. And then 3 on the day, and I was like, oh my god, this is what it feels like to not zero deadlift at comp. Mint. Like, I
I'd
can
lie on
do
the
with
floor and
this.
go, that's me.
100%, yeah. I would have been buzzing. I don't think it would have made any difference if I'd got more, because it's still like it was still didn't work well for like my overall comp performance, because I think I came joint 5th in that. So like that's not ideal. But
Yeah.
however, just not zero in that. And like I'd said I hadn't put a lot of work into like prepping for this comp, but I have actually put a lot of work into my deadlift. Like I'd
Yeah.
been doing like a general strength block and like doing like fucking sets and reps of 8 at fucking 140 and stuff, which is horrific for me. Like I'm not good at big volume
Mm.
deadlifts. So I'd put as much work in as I possibly could, and it actually felt like it paid off there. And I was like, oh my God, I should do
Yeah.
this more often. This is really good.
But it was a horrible, horrible height, though. I've not done
Awful
one at
height.
that height. I was like, ooh, this is nasty.
Yeah, hard to get the hang of, but I think once you've got the technique, it's not too bad, is it? But yeah, really hard to get the hang of. But yeah, that was
Mm.
a good event. But it takes us on to the next event, which was
Mm.
my absolute I loved this event. The Rubber Stone to Circus Dumbbell. How much fun was this event?
Yeah.
You're not convinced. Not convinced. It was my favorite, one of my
Supported
favorites
me
of the
there,
day.
Becca.
Yeah, I loved it. I
Not
thought it was
not
class
mine.
fun.
Not mine. But I don't like, overheads for me are so I have to, again, because of now dodgy boot, dodgy shoulder. I am right-handed, and I can't press properly with my right arm, so I have to press with my non-dominant arm. So I have had to learn to do Circus Dumbbell with my left hand, my non-dominant side. So that has been a challenge.
Yeah.
And I had beef with the Circus Dumbbell and the Rubber Stone from UK's. So 2 years ago, the Circus Dumbbell was at UK's, and I zeroed that. Just didn't manage to get a rep in time, so that went horribly wrong. So I got like that little earworm
Yeah.
back there. And then UK's last year, I felt really confident on the stones, but I have a problem when I get quite dizzy. I think common, it's really common, isn't it, for
Yeah.
stones? And tried to do the 70, and it was so fast, wasn't it, for my bum? And then nearly passed out on the 70 stone that
Oh
Wendy
God.
Stewart had to almost drag me off because I was like couldn't see or anything. So I had definitely got, got issues that I needed to settle and resolve with those two implements.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Fair.
not my favourite, but I was consistent and didn't zero
Nice.
it.
Yeah, no, I fucking loved this event. It was just such a weird, like, I love the weird, stupid events. Two things that shouldn't really go together that go together. Like, that's my jam, that 100%. But
Yeah.
I did see though, like, the rubber stones for me, because I know on the run up to it, everyone was like, "Oh, these rubber stones are a nightmare. They're really, really hard." And I watched a few people's videos of them, and I was like, "This is just a technique thing." Like, I was seeing so many people go to them and try and pick them up as normal stones, like with their arms
Mm,
completely straight, expecting to be able to just grip them off the floor. That's really fucking hard. Like, I can't do that. Like, it's
mm,
really difficult. So, like, I'd seen, I think it was Willow Brady had done a couple of videos, and then obviously Molly had done a bit with me as well about it, of like hooking your arms under the stone, getting really low to it, and like almost just picking it up like a Zercher type of technique.
mm,
And that was piss. Like, the minute I'd started doing that, I was like, wow, this is much easier. Like, why are people not doing this? And I've seen so many girls do it at the comp when I was watching them like try and lift the stones. And I was like, why are we not hooking our arms here? Like, there's no point in hoping that your hands are going to be strong enough to hold them in that
mm.
flexed wrist position. Like, it's nearly
Yeah,
impossible. But yeah, it was.
yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. But again, I think just like a very technical event, really, wasn't it? Like, and as well,
Absolutely.
the ones that
Yeah,
did really
absolutely.
well were the ones that had access to that type of kit all the time.
Yeah, yeah, and that's, some of these things it is, isn't it? It's access to kit. So, we were really lucky that, well, I'm quite lucky in that I've got rhinos and ashes. So somebody brought their circus dumbbells down to rhinos, and they've got a 60-kilo stone.
Yeah.
Ash has got a whole like range of every single circus dumbbell you could want, even
Yeah.
though the 31 is vile. So I was just like, I never got even a rep on his 31 because it was so fat and horrible. But it's got a 60 stone. So at least having a little bit of exposure, and went to the gym that got a 70 stone. So I can
Mhm.
lift the 70 stone. It's a circus dumbbell that's the issue for me. Um, but I found you need a little bit of moisture
Yeah.
on your hands. So I sprayed my leggings with water
Perfect. Very
because
good
obviously,
plan.
you don't want them sopping, but
No.
you just want enough to stick. Wendy, I noticed, was spitting on her hands.
Yeah.
That's very different. I didn't do that, but yeah. So it's you kind of want quite a dry hand for your circus dumbbell so it doesn't slip, but slightly moist for your stone. So I just like wet the bottoms of my leggings a little bit, and I get so agitated if I have hot ankles. So I've usually got my leggings like several inches above my ankles. So I generally, when I'm getting hot, I'll spray them anyway with cold water just to keep a bit cooler because
Yeah.
otherwise I can't focus. So yeah, a little bit of just moisture, and that helps as well, just to sort of give you that little bit of oomph. But I couldn't have been happier. I got 5 reps. I was so happy at the
Yeah.
30 and the 60, which again, just the consistency. Quite happy with that consistency. I was
100%. Well,
stoked with that.
that's the way to do
Absolutely,
strongman comps anyway, isn't it? Consistency's key. We always say this on the pod.
absolutely.
Absolutely. But what I will say is as well, a little sneaky tip trick for everybody, if you do need slightly stickier hands than normal, is a little bit of Lucozade. A little bit of dry Lucozade.
Really?
Yeah, you're not really meant to do that because it's technically, well, you say you're not meant to do that, but who's stopping you? Spill a bit of Lucozade on your hands. Think of how sticky that is. Real sticky. Real sticky. Let them dry a little bit. I didn't actually do this, by the way, before someone comes at me and tries to take my title back off me because I've been cheating again. I didn't do this, but I have done it previously in other competitions where just a bit of Lucozade, and it's good for as well if your feet are slipping on the floor. Spill a bit
Mm.
of Lucozade on the floor, step your feet in it. It has to be full sugar because that's the sticky stuff. Slip your feet in it a little bit, let it dry. Really sticky shoes. So,
Wow.
top tips for next time. Next
Absolutely.
time, next time we do rubber stones, everyone's going to be fucking covered in Lucozade,
Yeah.
aren't they? Sticky as
Yeah.
fuck. All the
Yeah.
stones are going to
Pass
be
it round.
minging.
Pass it round. Who's got the Lucozade? Can I borrow your Lucozade?
I'm going to have started a horrible trend for myself here, but yeah, Lucozade, so sticky when it dries. It's
Wow.
class. It's perfect. But
Wow.
yeah, that was a good event. I enjoyed that. And then we
It
had
was.
the farmers, didn't we? Farmers. I actually quite enjoyed this event
I
too.
loved I love farmers.
Yeah,
I
I
love
do.
farmers. I've got to be honest. I really I really like this one. I like them for the, the speed element when you're doing so many, but I really like this one because again, it was quite technical, having to work out your angle to, and because we weren't given, it was quite lax, wasn't it, on the rules? You just got to get to a point and turn. I think people are
Yeah.
like, oh, we've got cone to turn around, have we got, how do we do it? So you've got lots of people trying different things. You've got to work out how you want to balance being fast off the mark, but then you've got to slow, obviously, because otherwise them farmers are taking you on a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
different direction that you don't want to be in. Knowing that you're going to get disqualified if you take like 1 inch out your lane. But then you've got to straighten them up to then leg it down to the other end. When your fingers are just like screaming
Yeah.
because the farmers, are slipping. So I really like this one. And I think, I mean, there was so many people coming off and like, I've never dropped farmers before, and they were dropping them.
Mm.
And I don't know if that's the speed of the comp, the heaviness, once obviously that fatigue starts to set in, your grip is, your
Yeah,
grip just
starting to
tends to go a
fatigue,
little bit,
yeah.
doesn't it? So whether it was that, maybe the hand, you're doing your circus dumbbell, the grip from that circus dumbbell, and if people maybe weren't using a wrist wrap,
Yeah.
you know, because they would normally, but then didn't really work with the stone unless you got a really thin one. So, but yeah, it really surprised me that so many people were dropping them.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people underperformed that event compared to what they expected to do. And again, yeah, it is weird, but I do agree. I think probably just the like what's the word? Can't remember. The overload of the day basically on your grip that led to people not having as strong a grip as they usually would
Mm.
have. But again, like just something you've got to train in comp. Like for me, I always trained those farmers right at the end of my
Yeah,
sessions. I never trained them
same.
at the beginning because like I need their fifth event. Like same with kegs. Like why would you train that at the
Mm.
beginning? Always train them at the end because you need to be your most fatigued going into those events. And yeah, I think
Yeah,
that sort of showed on some people. And I do think the turn threw a lot of people off. I was really, I should have stuck to my guns and done them backwards. I knew I could do it, but I was really concerned that
was
they were
that?
going to.
I think wasn't that in the rules that you couldn't go backwards?
No, it wasn't in the rules. I checked
Wasn't
it a
it?
few times. Yeah, because
Oh,
I trained just going backwards. But my biggest concern when I got there on the day, I spoke to Josh about it, and I was like, I've got a trick for farmers. And I told him, and he went, "You'll get disqualified because you're not turning." And I was like, "Well, I am turning because I've changed direction. I'm going from forwards to backwards." And he's like, "Nah, you won't get it because you're not turning." So I was like, "Oh fuck!" And I couldn't work out how to do it with like fast enough. And I thought, well, what I might do is run all the way down, run backwards, and then just spin the farmers at the end and hope that they go over the line. But I was so worried about getting
yeah.
disqualified for it, I bottled it and instead ended up doing some fucked 3-point turn, which like I hadn't practiced, I hadn't planned. It was literally on the fly. I remember Jackie saying to me before, she's like, "What are you going to do?" And I was like, "I don't fucking know." I was like, "I'm just going to pick up the farmers and see what happens, to be honest,
Yeah.
mate." Like, and I remember getting to the end of the run and being like, "What the fuck do I do?" Started going backwards and I was like, "Shit, I can't do this. Move," and like turning around. But yeah, it was really good and benefit that Jess obviously dropped them just before the line and fucked it
Yeah.
for herself. So I was buzzing about that too.
Yeah. Well, Wendy dropped them. So me and Wendy, she was just a little bit ahead. And I think we got a point to we were pretty much just neck and neck. It's really difficult to see because of the camera angle. So I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
And it like my hubby and my coach were kind of not quite level. So I think we were pretty level. But then, yeah, she dropped them. But I must admit, at that point, my left hand, my grip was going, and I was kind of trying to push my left arm a little bit forward in case that they were going to go. I could kind of stumble across the line with that one
Yeah.
first, and then
Yeah.
the other
Yeah. Yeah.
one. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. But I do feel for everyone that that dropped them that doesn't normally, because yeah, I agree. I tend to train them towards the end of a session.
Yeah.
When you're tired. I think they also move better because you're warmer.
Yeah.
I did try it.
Definitely.
Like I think I got set them for like a warm up a few weeks ago. I was like, ugh, why would you do farmers as a warm up?
I'm not doing that. Gross.
No.
Yeah, but I'm exactly the same. Do you know what as well I think is a really good training like accessory for farmers and for grip? single arm hangs at the end of your session. If you wanted something to like really tax your grip and really stress it, single arm hangs. And if you can't do a single arm hang straight away, I've been doing this. I did this with Jackie a couple of months ago, is a single arm hang with like 1 or 2 fingers on the other hand, and just start like that and then slowly take the fingers away until you can do that single arm hang. Because if you can do a single arm hang for like 5 to 10 seconds, you can carry those farmers. Like you're not going to fucking drop them. So sneaky tip and trick. That's another one there for people.
Yeah. And
Single
I was
arm hangs.
getting my work bag. My work bag's not light. And carrying it like off my little finger or that finger. So I'd alternate. So
Nice.
like car park, little finger holding it, and like the middle. I was like,
Hell
these
yeah.
are not going to be weak fingers. These are going to be strong fingers. I can't be bothered standing there holding up a plate, like a 20 kilo plate. No. But I'll carry my work bag, like 200 meters into the office across the car park on my little finger. Yep.
100%. Yeah, I love that. No, great. It's just training throughout the day when you're not even thinking about it. That's where you get the gains, 100%. But right, so final event then, kegs.
Disaster.
Didn't like that one, did you?
It's not, I didn't like them. I didn't train them enough. For me, I didn't train them enough. I really wanted to secure my overheads. I was concentrating on making sure I didn't zero the log. I didn't want to zero the Circus dumbbell. Really focused on, I wanted my back to be okay. So, the bigger things took priority, really. Those were the bigger things. I did train kegs a couple of times. I tried different grips. So I tried, like lifting it sort of vertically like a Coke can, tried that. Tried sort of just whacking it up, but then obviously it's banging off your leg and then you have to almost get to the end, reposition it in your lap and then load and tip, or change it around in your lap and then load it. And then like I think literally like the week before I was like, there's a better way to do it. I can do this better. And I trained them the day before with Stacey. We both met up at Ashes and we'd had to go, and he's got a sand loaded keg and a loadable keg like we had on the day.
Yeah.
So we'd got one of both. So we did that. But I was like, I can do this better. So I went back the following day, used the sand loaded one. And I was really actually quite quick at getting it on my lap, adjusting my grip and going. I was like, that's the way forward. That's how I need to do it. And I felt really, really confident. And I was like, right, I know what a plate loaded keg feels like. So I know I just need to make sure when I'm on the platform, I have to turn it the way of the load. So I'd sort of run through that in my head. But just then, it was just the lack of training.
Yeah.
You're looking at people's pickups and you're like, we just didn't do this enough. Not enough to be good, really. That's how it went. I still came fourth.
Not bad, really. For not training it hardly at all. Fourth isn't bad.
No, not bad. But it's kind of, when you're lobbing 78 kilo sandbags around, it's not a weight. It's a weight you can move.
Yeah.
It's just the fiddliness of it, and I couldn't. When I picked it up, I just couldn't get the grip right. I've got a cracking like blood blister on my thumb because I'd caught it the first time, but I just couldn't get it right. And then the longer you take, like anything, isn't it, the more tired you get. But actually, when I look back at mine, although Stacey came off faster, I'd loaded, even though I was fumbling at the beginning, I'd actually loaded mine before she'd loaded hers.
Yeah.
So, I think the winner was definitely like the Coke Cammy effort. But then I was watching when Maria Krasinska's crushed her hand and thought, ooh, kind of that could go all sort of very, very wrong.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, I had to change my technique because I'd been training on obviously sand loaded, and they're so easy to flip to the side. And then I started watching. I think I was watching like the 57s go, and I was like, these plate loaded kegs actually look a bit harder. Like, I'm a bit interested. How's this going to feel? And I went into the warm up and I picked one up and I was like, oh shit, I can't do that technique at all. Like, I'm going to have to work out how to do this Coke can technique right now, and spent ages in the warm up trying to do it and managed it. But it was, those plate loaded kegs are so much harder because all the weight's in one side, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that's, had I practiced on that more, I probably would have worked out actually. Yeah. Or like you, gone, oh shit, what can I, while these other ones are going, that's probably what I need to do, because I was watching them going, "Oh, that's not how I'm picking it up," and they
Yeah.
look really speedy. That
Yeah.
that looks class. So, yeah, I was shitting myself really thinking, "I didn't think I'd be too bad on this one, but now I'm like,
Oh God.
ugh."
I know. The fatigue hit me as well on that final
Yeah.
event, and I picked up that 100. I remember like my life flashing before my eyes and being like, "Oh my God, I can't move with this." And then I heard it was Jackie behind me screaming like, "Move!" And I started walking, and my legs, you can see them shaking. Like
Mm,
I had nothing left in my body at that point at all. So yeah,
yeah.
I was glad
Yeah.
when it was over.
I think I was running back for the 80 thinking, "I'm really quite tired. I'm really quite tired.
Yeah, yeah.
How much longer is there of this event?"
I kept watching Jess because I knew I was like half a point behind Jess, and I knew I only had to beat her. And like Jess is like, she's really, really good and strong, but she's not great at loading. And I was like, I might have her on this. And I saw her struggling with the first one, and I knew I was ahead of her. And I was just like, I'm gonna slow down a bit. I don't
Yeah.
need to try any harder on this. Like, as long as I beat you, Jess, that's all that matters. And yeah, it was.
But I think overall, I mean, I don't think not lots of people did lots of people actually load the third one?
I don't think there
I think
was actually. There was only, I know only Panda in our category, she loaded the third one in the under 82s and she had an absolute hell of a run. But yeah, I think there was quite a few people that dropped on that final load that didn't
I
quite
feel I
make
feel
it.
like watching the under 57s, I'm pretty sure lots of them got it. And
Yeah,
then I think they got heavier, like less less people managed it.
yeah, no, I think it was, that final keg, I think was a finisher for a lot of people. It finished me off. It killed me.
Yeah,
Absolutely killed
yeah,
me.
yeah.
But yeah, overall though, a really good day. Like I wasn't the keenest to do the comp. I really only wanted to do it to get that Worlds invite, and it was actually a really well run day. I did enjoy it. I didn't
Mm,
enjoy the fact that they were going to try and make us wait until after the men's for the podiums. That was
no,
annoying, but they did sort it out on the day and didn't make us wait.
absolutely.
So we can't whinge too much about that. But yeah, it felt slightly less organized than other strongman comps. I think because they knew they had the volume of athletes at England's felt a lot more like, yeah, bang, bang,
Mm.
bang, we've got this, we're doing this. Whereas UK's felt a little bit more relaxed, laid back,
I
maybe.
live England's this year,
Yeah,
but certainly, I mean, it didn't feel too different to last year.
yeah,
Um, Certainly, I think it, and I think it's kind of working with what you got. Obviously, space wise, it was a little bit more challenging. But
yeah,
while we were waiting around, waiting for for the men to finish their log for out, so that we could have the awards, it still was running. It seemed to be running really smoothly with the men. The men coming through and warming up. But it
yeah,
seemed
yeah,
that worked really well. So I just think they are getting slicker.
yeah,
Uh, I just think sometimes it's looking maybe a little bit more. Must be really difficult trying to choose venues as well. Well, find venues that will let you do, because when you're watching the kegs and actually some people dropping the kegs as bits of the concrete floor like flying
yeah,
off here, there, and everywhere. Oh God. So to find a venue that's going to let you do, the events that you want to do, that's big enough,
yeah,
that is reasonable in cost, and maybe what's in their head when they sort of go and have a look, and then actually when it comes to it, maybe doesn't quite work quite the same or
yeah,
whatever. But I think they're doing a really good job.
yeah.
Really, really good job. They are really well run. And I like the fact, obviously we can give feedback as well, and they take on board the feedback as well.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I hated the venue. I'll say it outright now. I don't care. I fucking hated that venue. I hate Wolverhampton. It's a shithole. It's like, and it's not specifically to Wolverhampton that. If they said, oh, we're going to run a comp in Middlesbrough, I'd have the same feeling. The only benefit would be that it would be close by to me. Like, there's fuck all to do in Middlesbrough. It's a shithole. So like, same thing with Wolverhampton. Like, it's just a shithole, and the area was like dodgy. Like, when I parked my car, I was like, this is probably getting
Yeah,
broken into. Like, I'm taking all my
yeah,
valuables out of there because I don't trust anybody around here. And then, like,
yeah,
the venue being painted black on the inside. and no windows. So like you just had no idea what time of day it was at
Yeah,
all. The music was very good. I enjoyed it.
it was.
Not for
Yeah,
6 hours straight though. I had a banging headache as I left. Like there was just a few little things where I was like, this, I don't think that was the ideal venue for it. And I think they spoiled us by having Box Park for England's
yeah.
like,
Box Shot was fab
because
last year.
Box Park is just
Yeah,
unreal. Like it's so nice. It's such a good venue. And I get we can't have the comp in the same venue every single time, but going from Box Park to that one in Wolverhampton was like
yeah,
bit of a letdown, I felt. But that's
yeah. I mean,
me
it's good for me. It was an
personally.
hour away from me. So,
Yeah.
being a local Midlands person, so
Yeah,
um,
no, I get
it was,
that. Yeah. It was it
did
was
make
all
that. But
right.
yeah, I was like, when we went for way in the day before, I was a bit like, oh god.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was and I nearly missed weigh-in, so I was through the roof. I was furious. But yeah, it was a good com though. I did enjoy it, and I've we've had some ups and downs, but yeah, I did think
Yeah,
that was a good one. It's just the venue was not my favorite, but we'll
yeah.
see what venues they pick for. Well, I don't know what they're doing for Europe's because I'm not doing it, so I haven't really paid a lot of attention.
Doncaster.
But what?
I
Oh
think it's
yeah, it's
Doncaster.
Doncaster Dome, isn't it? Yeah, that'll be sick. I
Europe.
like Doncaster Dome. Yeah, it's
Mm,
a shame actually that because I would have enjoyed that, but I'm on holiday,
yeah, I'm not
so
doing Europe's. I'm not
yeah,
doing Europe. But I did think it was really nice that we were all there on the same day.
yeah,
Because last year we did obviously masters and juniors, so we were separate.
yeah,
Um, but I thought it was really nice that we were all together. Um,
100%, yeah.
yeah, because as people, you're like, oh, sometimes you can't always get to the comps to watch them, and you live streaming, and even though you don't actually get to see because they're so fast, you don't get to see everybody you want to see, and you do have to then watch it back or
Yeah,
whatever. But it was so nice, to be able to just to see everybody from
yeah,
every woman from every category, and really
100%, yeah.
because there's something. Well, everybody who goes is phenomenal. Anyone I think who does this sport and competes is phenomenal because it's quite niche, isn't it? And people look at you a bit. They're kind of like what, like strongman off telly,
Yeah.
the kind of thing.
Yeah,
Really, you do that? And they, you either get, are you sure, or wow, kind of. But so I think everybody who goes is absolutely phenomenal. But it's just amazing to see, women just doing amazing, fabulous thing, moving these really heavy weights around
yeah,
and looking so happy doing it.
yeah, absolutely.
Like
I totally
pigs in
agree.
shit.
Yeah, it was good vibes. It was a good community vibe on the day, I felt like. Everyone was just,
Yeah,
like, in a pretty good place and having a nice time, weren't there? But,
yeah.
right, let's move on then, because I've already kept you for nearly an hour.
Ah,
And we haven't even done your actual podcast bit yet.
it's all right.
So, let's move on then. So, let's get into your Strongwoman highs, Suzanne.
So I've probably touched on quite a few already. So absolutely, like this whole journey has been quite a mega high, really. That winning, sort of the first timers was amazing. Coming third at England's when I really just was going just to sort of benchmark, see
Yeah,
how I benchmarked against everybody else. Um, winning at UK's absolutely last year was amazing, but that's also a bit of a low as well.
right.
So we'll talk about that in the next bit. And the people, the people that I've met through this journey, men and women, friends I've gained, the supportive community. When I played rugby, it was our team was supportive of each other, and we're still we're still friends now.
Yeah,
And that's like 20 plus years later. We've still like really got a nice tight knit group of friends. But the community for this and the support, never really found anything else where it's a competitive sport, but it's not competitive.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
because you appreciate what everybody is putting in, the time, the effort, the training, the nutrition, personal life, it's escape a lot of time for personal life, it's your time putting in to go and do this sport. So I think all of that there's so many, the whole journey is an absolute high, which I think everybody feels, don't they? We talk about it, listen to it all the time. It
yeah,
really so inclusive, and it does not matter
yeah,
um what is going on in your life. It doesn't matter who you are. It is just an amazing community, and I really love that, and I think that's the biggest high. I really feel like I found my tribe really, which is nice.
Yeah, no, I love it. And it like we do say it all the time on the podcast, but it's so true, isn't it? And I love saying it again and again on the podcast because I think it just like it reiterates it all the time to people that like you find this community and it is just such a good inclusive community. Like everyone just like
Yeah,
gets on. Yeah, we're always going to have like the odd fallings out, the odd carry on, but you're doing everything. Like there's every walk of life you're going to find that, aren't you? But the
yeah,
majority is like it's so supportive, and I think because everyone just loves it so much, when you find new people to get into it, like I'm trying to convince my mum at the moment, like she's just started strength training and I'm like, oh yeah, mum, you could do a comp, and she's like, no, and I'm like, she'll be doing a comp by the end of this year. Like, she'll be
yeah,
doing it. I know she
absolutely,
will. But
absolutely.
and I don't feel worried about her joining this community. I don't feel like, oh God, is she gonna fit in? Like, oh, is she gonna get along with people? I'm like, no, of course she will. Like, absolutely, of course she will. Because I came into it with like no friends and no knowledge of
Mm,
anything about anything. And like I've got some of my best mates out of this sport now. So it is. It's
yeah,
just, it's awesome, isn't it? And I love that your journey, like, do you find that this is probably more community driven than the other sports that you've been in before?
yeah, yeah, and I certainly, having done CrossFit and it's sold as CrossFit is sold as a massive community. Not for me, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I was the square peg in a round hole. It didn't. And the fact that my life is not, my sport does not define me, what I'm doing. So, when I've run before, "Oh, you're a runner," "You're a runner, you're a runner." You know, my sport doesn't define me. I am the sum of everything I do, and I choose to do a lot of things. I
Yeah.
still like to run. I still like to go out on bike rides. I still like to go to the pub. I still like to have a curry. I still like to have pics. I'm not I am not this, really focused athlete that lives and breathes whatever sport I'm doing, and there's nothing else outside of it. And that I didn't then fit with CrossFit
Yeah.
really. And even doing this alongside CrossFit, it wasn't how do I put this? I don't think any of them will listen, so I'll say it as it is really. Um,
Just say it.
just say it. Just say it. So when I started doing this, there were other people doing other things that got recognition, and I rarely got recognition at all.
Yeah.
And I don't do it for recognition. Certainly not. I'm not that kind of person. My I don't. Other people shout about me. I don't shout about me. So this is quite outside of what I do normally. But with CrossFit, there wasn't even recognition to the point I got back from Worlds last year, having come second, and quite rightly very proud of myself. None of the coaches mentioned it. Nothing was mentioned on social media posts, absolutely nothing, and I tagged them in my training and all the rest of it, and thanks, because, I'd still done the classes. I'd gone to the powerlifting classes, sort of powerlifting Olympic classes leading up to it to improve on my overheads and my split jerks and stuff like that. Um, Not one bit of acknowledgement,
Yeah.
nothing from any of the coaches, and I just thought, "Fine, fuck you then."
Yeah.
Um,
Fuck
I was
yeah.
moving anyway. I moved house, so I was like, "Right, I'm leaving that
See
gym.
ya.
See ya, see ya."
Yeah.
So, yes, I find this the most supportive because that has not, their experiences that are supposed to be supportive have not been. So, yeah, absolutely, this is very inclusive and, coming into it, I was 43 when I started. I'm not a spring chicken in it, so I think it doesn't matter either what age you start.
Yeah.
You can go in and have a great time. It really, really does not matter.
100%, yeah, and that's what I love about the sport as well. Is it's like my mum's in her 60s, and I'm just like, yeah, you could absolutely do
Yeah,
this. Like a basic novice comp or a beginner's comp, like you'd be able to go and do these weights and stuff. And that's the beauty of it, like that you're never going to be
yeah,
too old to do this sport. And like there,
not at all.
there's definitely going to be an over 60s class at some point. Like I know they've got the over 50s masters coming in now. I can't wait for the over 60s. It's going to
Yeah,
be class. Like
absolutely. I'd like to be in it.
yeah.
Give me another 13 years and I'll be in it.
Me too, yeah. I'm hoping, yeah, I'm aiming for it now. And it's so beneficial as well. Like we were talking about before for
Yeah,
women like
for
who've gone
life.
through menopause or going through menopause or have been through it and are out the other side of it now. Like it's so important to strength train and lift. And if you can find that and find that community, which is like, again, a massively important part of getting
Mm,
women into lifting, is being able to find a community and feel like you
yeah,
fit in. Like, that's why Strongwoman is almost like the perfect sport for that, like the perfect sport for women who are going through that phase in life. Like,
absolutely.
it ticks so many boxes that these
Just to
women
be able to
need.
pick up a grandchild, you know.
Yeah,
The
100%.
one of the classes that I go to, at being the gym hall that I am, one of the other classes that I go to, we've got all age ranges, and Jen, I don't know if she's going to listen, but we're going out for her big decade birthday next weekend. And her reason, really, I think she'd done other stuff as well. I'd met her in previous gyms and whatnot, but she's come on amazing, and again for her fit for life and grandchildren and whatnot. So it is absolutely, it is being fit for life, and if you can pick up things from the floor and push stuff above your head and move well with them, you're gonna be fine, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It creates such a more robust body going into like those later years in life, and
Yeah.
the benefits are so huge. Like, it's class. I absolutely love it, and it's like it's just a class part of Strong Woman, isn't it? I mean, I love it. Like,
I love
it's
feeling strong.
yeah, I do. Like, it just changes everything about you, doesn't it? It changes how you think about your body, how you feel about
Yeah.
yourself, your confidence levels, like all those things massively affected just by this one, like, silly little niche sport. Like,
Mm.
it's crazy.
I know, but it's amazing. It is amazing.
100%. Right. Well, let's ruin the good vibes then and go into the bad vibes, shall we?
Yeah,
Give us
high
some strong
five.
woman lows.
Oh, well, certainly my back injury. So, yeah, it's just I had a niggle all through last year in my bum cheek. I thought it was piriformis syndrome, and then did Worlds and got home from Worlds, was moving house the next week. My hubby was on a motorbike trip in the Isle of Man with his mates because that was his birthday present. And I was like, no, go, enjoy yourself. So he was there while I was doing Worlds. But it did mean that he got back 4 days before we moved house. So I got back, packed up a lot of the house on my own. We moved house, we unpacked. I went back to the gym and did a Romanian deadlift just a little bit wrong. Just was like, said to my coach, can you just have a look? Like, this doesn't feel right. And it just got worse and worse and
Oh,
worse, to the point that, like, the end of October last year, I couldn't walk, I couldn't pick up a barbell. I was really, really struggling and hobbled into a chiropractor. And I was like, you have got to fix me because this pain is like nothing I've ever known in my life.
yeah.
So, yeah, so having like an SI joint injury and then having to go back to start from scratch again, has been pretty low. That's been pretty hard, and recovery and rehab and the anxiety, as when you're lifting, don't you? When you've had a back injury, the anxiety around it, and any niggle, you're like, oh, and you feel yourself tense, like, no, shouldn't be doing that. So that's been quite a low, really. So I'm pleased that that's sort of on its way out now.
Yeah.
Um, and as I said, like UK's last year, massive case of imposter syndrome, massive. I really felt like I shouldn't have won, which took it away from me, really, because I knew like Tatiana had come in, sort of, it was her third competition on the bounce. Stacey, who I knew was really strong, was injured. And it just didn't feel like I deserved the win because there was other things at play. So yes, it was a high because I'd won it. No, it was a low because I didn't feel like it was a fair competition, really. And I know we talk about consistency, and I was very, very consistent again during that one, but I just didn't feel it was like a level playing field because you just want everybody to come in their best version of them, don't you?
Yeah.
You want everybody to bring it to the floor because you want to be doing the same.
Yeah.
Um, so when I went to Worlds and sort of completely crashed out on the first event and came seventh in the first event because my overhead went to shit, and then climbed straight back up, climbed up over the events and came second, I was like, yeah, I've earned this. And that kind of got rid of the imposter syndrome. But
Yeah.
it started to come back because coming to UK's this year as the reigning champion, you've got all that pressure,
Yeah.
which that has been quite a low. I didn't like that very much you know, I don't anyone who's tried to stalk me on Instagram, you're not gonna get much because there's very little on there. I do keep myself quite to myself, but, it was really hard. I found this really hard, and menopause on top, which I'm now going through for the second time naturally this time,
Great.
is a killer. It has fucked me over like I have never, you know, just bend me over and get that great big unlubed dildo, because that, quite frankly, has really, it's given me such bad anxiety, massive anxiety. The gym has always been my safe place, and to go in and have panic attacks and anxiety attacks doing what I usually love, question everything, making you feel like absolute shite, weight you can't shift because you're hormonal, you know, you don't recover, you know, in the nicest possible way. I don't recover the same way as I did 5 years ago, let
Yeah.
alone the same way as a 20 and 25-year-old,
Yeah.
and somebody half my age, and trying to recover to do these events and to get your mind in the right place when your hormones are playing havoc. It's really, really fucking awful.
Yeah.
Um, and that, I have to say, probably they're my lows,
Yeah.
really, because it does impact on everything. And, you know, training is the consistent, like, it sometimes work is, you know, it's routine, isn't it? Training is routine, and you go for escape and relax and release.
Mhm.
But it's been this prep, that's why I said this prep has been, I found it really bloody hard for lots of reasons, and it has, and the amount of times I thought I'll pull out, I'll not do it, I'll not compete. I've come from nowhere, nobody really knows me, and I'll just skulk back into nowhere as well, and that's fine, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all been quite challenging. So I think those are my lows, really.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you didn't skulk back at him, because that would have been sad, because I know who you are, and I would have been sad with that. But I do get what you were saying about the imposter syndrome. But again, though, you, you can only be the strongest one there on the day out of everyone else that shows up. Like
Yeah.
it's hard, isn't it? Because I find this with the under 82s a lot of the time when there's not a lot of people. Like I think with the untested pathway, like the Unbreakables pathway at the moment, I don't see any point in going and competing against 2 or 3 people in the under 82s there to win. Because in my mind, I've not won like under 82 England's there, or under 82
Mm,
like Brits or whatever, because there's just not the volume of athletes. Like there needs to be a good
yeah.
standing of athletes. And even with like 6 at UK's this year, like that still felt to me like a small class. And I totally get that feeling where you're like, I wish there was just more people. So it almost like sounds bad this, but legitimizes your win a little bit more. Like,
Well, yeah, and
and
you
it
want a good quote, don't you? You want
yeah, exactly. And it's difficult, isn't it? Because you don't want to make it sound bad. Because obviously the girls that are there are still like massively strong. It was like they're hard competitions regardless.
mm,
But just for you, like I hate it when you're talking to people and you're like, oh yeah, I won this at the weekend. They're like, oh, against how many? And I was like, 6. Because
yeah.
instantly, you know, that person's like being like, fucking out, 6. Like, well done. I do
Yeah.
as well want to ask how you found like dealing with the anxiety and the panic attacks and stuff in the gym, and how you've sort of overcome that, or have you?
Well, I have just, well, like I said, I reached out to Chloe. So she was fab. She was really, really good. Had several sessions with her, and she was really brilliant. And it really did help. Really, really did help in terms of just trying to, you know, do those little things, create a bit more of a routine in my head. So you'll, if anybody watches back the live stream, you'll see me putting my hands on my hips in a power position and sort of just having a moment. And that's me just doing that reset,
Yeah,
um, just to try and focus on like the now. So doing that kind of stuff. Started also having some CBT, which is where, because I thought it was just sort of a social anxiety thing, but actually no, it's more a panic disorder. So trying to get to the bottom of the panic,
yeah,
um, and why and where that panic's come from. And so that's kind of a work in progress. I keep a journal, um, visualization, massive loads of visualization through the steps. And but sometimes, you know, my hubby goes to the same gym and he'd just come up to me and I'd be there holding a, you know, a barbell in the barbell rack, just with my eyes closed, just trying to breathe and not run out, because
Yeah.
I just felt like the world was coming down on top of me, and particularly around log and circus dumbbell stuff. As soon as that, or if my back started to twinge, that element of, oh my God, it's all going wrong. Oh my God, I've got to hit this on comp day. Oh my God, I don't want to, if I zero, people will think that will they laugh at me? Will they think I'm weak? And you're like, don't be stupid, because none of my friends are doing this, and none of my friends are trying to lift a 60-kilo log above their freaking head.
Yeah.
So, a suitcase to get it on the plane is probably about enough for them and hard enough. So what are you doing? So a little bit of like rationalization, but a lot of the other stuff. And I can't say it's completely gone. There's still a lot there. And in daily life, I think that's just hormone stuff that hopefully the CBT will help me sort of drill down and work with and move forward.
Yeah.
I think, when they they talked about like HRT stuff and like alternatives to HRT or CBT, and I'm like, you are having a fucking laugh. I appreciate why now. I do appreciate why now.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's a lot to be said for like CBT and therapy, and like I know obviously I've used Chloe in the past for hypnotherapy as well, because I had the same with deadlifts where I was getting so worked up. I was like having panic attacks on the way to the gym thinking about deadlifting, and I was like,
Mm,
well, of course I'm not going to be able to deadlift if I think like this. Like, this is insane. I need to
yeah.
fix this. And I've got in contact with her again because I'm going to try and get her to hypnotize me to stop vaping too. Which I'm not sure we're going to work with, but we're going to try. We're going to try. We're going to give it a go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big believer in like it's mindset, and there's so many different things that you can do to work on that and to move forward. You just need to find the right person to help you through those things. And yeah,
Yeah.
like Chloe's a legend. It sounds like you're going like in all directions as well, which is like the perfect way to do it. Is do everything. Find the stuff that you're like, yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
working, and stick with it.
Yeah, and I think you've got to, because you don't know what's going to work for you, really. Hypnotherapy might not have worked, or CBT might not have worked, or, and I'm very much kind of, I started struggling with it the first time I had, when I was taking the tamoxifen after my breast cancer, and that sort of, I had the same mental health effects. So I anticipated that this would come at some point, because I knew what my body had been through before and how I experienced that loss of estrogen,
Yeah,
really. So, I knew it was coming, and how I'd sort of dealt with stuff previously. And for me, it's always been like exposure. Don't stop. Don't stop. Walk away. Go, no, today is not the day. Or, I'll say, for example, the log, I might not be hitting the numbers I supposed to. Okay, we'll drop it down and do an EMOM. Let's work on technique instead then.
yeah,
If we can't do the weight, what else can we do to give the exposure and learn the skill? So that's how I've got round it. And certainly for log as well, my coach was like, just have 15 minutes of playtime. So no pressure,
yeah,
just 15 minutes to play around with it, make friends with it, cuddle it, do whatever. But, try and have a bit of a relationship with it that you can work with. And those kind of things helped as well, massively. So just to have that extra bit of freedom up until a couple of weeks ago, where I could just go and see what I could do with no pressure on me, to just have, get that exposure in. And because well, you don't know. That's silly, isn't it? No, you don't know. I'm a trained PT as well, but in my past. So, you know other things that you can do. So it's
yeah,
okay. Well, I'm not going to do that, but I will do this. I'll work on skill acquisition instead then,
yeah.
because that's just as important. The clean is just as important. Or, let's work on just split jerking, or, work on just your push jerk or something. So an element of it. And that definitely helped as well.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's great advice. Great advice. And it moves us on very nicely to the final question of the Strong Woman
Mm.
part, which is what would you say to yourself then when you first started the sport?
I would use that lovely quote that it's the journey, not the destination, that counts.
Hell yeah.
Because I feel I've focused a lot on the destination, set goals, which is not a bad thing. It's good to set goals. It's good to set yourself where you'd like to see yourself and do. And, you know, last year I was like, I want to be top 10 in worlds. I achieved that. I would have achieved that just by going to the competition, actually, because there's only 10 of us. But I would have just got
Doesn't
1
matter
point
though.
everything, and I would have been the top 10, so that's fine. But it comes with a lot of sacrifice, and again, like I said, coming to this, this was all about, can I recover? Can I recover enough to go to comp and defend my title, even if it just puts a bit of spanner in the works for other people to make the work a little bit harder?
Yeah.
But the it's not the journey. And I think now I can probably, moving forward, focus on the journey a lot
Yeah.
more. Like I said, the people you meet, the amazing friendships I've got from this, the shared experiences from comp day, from training, if you meet up afterwards, stopping with Avril and Wendy and her daughter last year for Worlds, those shared moments out of comp as well as in comp, learning what your body can do along the way, what your mind can do, and the strength that comes with it. Yeah, I think even now I'll take that forward, and it's the journey, it's not the destination, and enjoy the journey, because the destination is gone. We can reminisce about a comp, but actually what my husband goes, oh, you did less than 6 minutes of work today, what you on about? Yeah, thanks darling, but yes, it is, it's very quick, it's very short, but
Yeah.
actually the training and everything else that goes into it in the journey, I think that's what I'd say.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's super important. And I do think like the first couple of years in the sport, it's the excitement, isn't it, of the comps. And like you're just thinking about that next comp, that next comp, that next comp. And it is exciting. You get like caught up with it almost, don't you? And then after you've been in it a couple of years and sort of that excitement wears off a little bit, you're like, actually, just this whole thing is class. Like that's what I like about it. I love going to comps with people. I love just hanging out and like getting to just hang out outside of like strongman with people. Like, so it just brings so much extra to your life, doesn't it? And yeah, I love it. And now I enjoy the preps and the training. And I think back to like preps that I did for certain comps, like Europe's 2020. Is it 3 or 20? Yeah, 2023, I think. And we had such a huge training crew of us all together. And we had such a good time. Like, it was min. I seen Shane, I hate to quote him on this podcast, but from MST Systems, he'd posted like a very high rant the other day. Not like a rant, but like a reminisce on his stories. And it was like, you get those certain moments in time where you've got these like class training crews and like just groups of people that you just love hanging out with.
Yeah.
And like you think back to them and you're like, those are the days, and you need to enjoy them while they're happening, because like otherwise you're thinking about them as like past tense all the time, aren't you? But like sometimes you just realize you're in them, and like I'm in one at the moment where I'm like, I've just got a sick training crew, like people around me are sick, like it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, just appreciating that is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And time flies so fast, and you don't know what you're going to be doing tomorrow. So, definitely live for the now. Enjoy the journey.
Exactly. I love that. Well, that moves us on perfectly then to the final part of our podcast, everybody's favourite, the Silly Goose section.
Woo!
Silly Goose. It's Silly Goose time, where our lips get loose and our minds run free. Silly Goose. It's Silly Goose time, where we chat a load of shit that's of absolutely no use. It's Silly Goose time.
So you came up to me at comp and said, I have a silly goose for you, and I wouldn't let you tell me it because I was very excited to get it on the pod. So I've not even prepared one for today.
Right.
Actually, well, I have a backup one, but I don't think we'll need it. So
Okay.
hit me with it.
So my silly goose for you is, if dinosaurs still roamed the planet today instead of how we've evolved, would their farts have the same or a greater impact on the ozone layer than how we have evolved with people, industry, tech, and cows?
Ooh, I like that. That is a quality silly goose question. I didn't know what you were going to come at me with, but that is fucking next level. I'm not even going to ask how high you were when you came up with that one. That's just like a night in my house with all my mates where we sat around going, have you ever thought about this, by the way?
This created several hours of discussion between me and my husband when I brought it to the dinner table.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know, because I feel like I need to know more about the amount of Well, do we know how many dinosaurs there used to be on the Earth? We wouldn't, would
No,
we?
no,
But
no. But they're big,
they are very big. They are very big, but you can't
and
imagine they're going to have their own
millions of years,
territories.
because they've been around for quite a long time.
Mm. And was there more land or was there more sea back then?
I feel there might have been. It was lots of big continents, wasn't there?
Yeah, the land was like closer together, wasn't it? But I don't know whether it was more sea or more land. Because if it was more sea, I would say now that we're definitely making worse methane now. But then you don't know, do you? Because was that something to do with why the actual extinction happened? Was it that they'd got to a point where they were literally fighting so much they broke the ozone layer and everything exploded? Is that what we're heading
Well,
to now? We've created our
maybe,
own
because
one.
they say it's a volcano or an earthquake or something, but how do we know? How do we know it was not accumulation of dinosaur fart in the ozone layer?
Yeah. I'd love to know what dinosaur farts smelled like. I wonder if they smelled like ours.
Oh, well, I mean, a dog and a cow fart don't smell too dissimilar, do they?
Nah, dog farts are awful as well, aren't they? Like
Yeah.
my dog Lumen farts. She was farting next to me today, and honestly, it was like knocking me sick. I was like, "You're
Oh,
not well." Like,
yeah.
yeah,
My
I wonder.
husband last night and this morning, I was like, darling, what have you eaten?
Yeah, I wonder because it would be so interesting. I don't think I've ever even thought about dinosaurs farting, to be honest.
I mean, I don't know how many stomachs they had, because obviously cows have got several stomachs, and people blame, like, a lot of methane on cows, but
Yeah.
cows aren't the only animals to have lots of stomachs, are they? And you've got bigger. Nobody says it's the elephants and the rhinoceroses and the hippopotamuses that are causing this.
Yeah, I think
But it could be.
the problem
They're
with the
big.
cows is the mass farming, isn't it? The mass production farming, which I think surely the mass production farming is going to be more than the dinosaurs. Because if the dinosaurs were running wild, they'd have their own territories. They wouldn't ever be overcrowded in places, would there? Whereas like cows now, like they love overcrowding them, don't they? They love fucking having hundreds and thousands of them in little sheds.
They do, but think about the size of the dinosaurs. They were pretty big.
Mm,
How many cow stomachs could fit into a dinosaur stomach?
that's a very good point. That's a
Because
very good point.
if you've got maybe, I don't know, 25 cow stomachs to one dinosaur stomach.
I'd love to know more about dinosaur anatomy. I guess we don't, because like most dinosaur anatomy now will just be based off the bones, won't it? Because we don't have soft tissue to
Yeah.
go off, do we?
No, not really.
I feel like I need
No.
to do a lot of research into this. You've opened so many doors for me.
I'm going to become a paleontologist just to investigate the fart capacity of a dinosaur.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone's ever done anything about it. I wonder if there is any research about dinosaur farts. I'd love to know. How interesting. What an interesting concept to think of. I feel like this is going to be another one that's going to get brought up on the podcast for years to come. We're going to constantly come back to this and be like, remember that time we were talking about this?
Yeah, that dinosaur fart. Has anybody come up with an answer yet?
Yeah,
a bit like the Bermuda Triangle, but with dinosaur fart.
100%, yeah, because I'm still looking for a Bermuda Triangle expert on that note. But if you are a paleontologist and you are listening to this and going, actually, I have some information on this, then give me a shout, because we've clearly got a lot of questions here that need answering that we're not going to be able to answer ourselves. So yeah, this could be the new Bermuda Triangle, couldn't it? Dinosaur farts.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I did used to know a bit about the Bermuda Triangle. I was always very interested in stuff like that when I was younger. Yeah, yeah.
Throw out some facts if you've got any then.
I don't, I know obviously there's a song, isn't there, by Barry Manilow that's got Bermuda Triangle in it. And it's where things disappear, and lots of planes have disappeared in that area, and it's an area in the Pacific, Atlantic.
I don't know. Again, the reason why I was asking people is because I don't know enough about it, and I just feel like it's an interesting topic, isn't it? Like just a weird triangle somewhere that people disappear in. Why?
Well, it could be a vortex. Could be a vortex to another world.
Could be.
quantum universe may be where the dinosaurs are still alive and farting. So
maybe, yeah, maybe there is dinosaurs at the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle, and they're
maybe.
creating it by farting. Going real
Quite
off piece here
possibly.
now.
Quite possibly. Who knows?
Oh, that's been a quality one. I feel like I'm going to think about that all evening now, probably for the next week or so. I've got so much uni work to do that I need to keep my mind on, and now I'm like, dinosaur farts. I need to find out more about this.
Please
No,
don't use AI to ask it, because I'm on a mission against AI at the moment. I was listening to your pod with Panda, and I was like, I agree. I'm on a mission against AI. Don't use AI.
yeah. See,
We have to think.
I'm with you.
Think
Like,
for ourselves.
I hate it so much, and my husband says the same thing. But today, so like I've done a bit of uni work. I've got loads of references, and stupidly, I was just putting them all on a file together, like just banging them on one at a time, bang, bang, done, done. Looked at it. It's obviously not in alphabetical order. All the references are in different styles. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to go through all of these. Put it into AI though. Does it in 2 minutes. I don't have to fuck about with that. And I was like,
all those hours that I've spent on my dissertations in the past. All those hours.
I know, and like I feel bad. I feel bad doing it. I know it's wrong, and I know I shouldn't, but it's saving me so much time. I can't not use it. It's silly not to at this point. So
I think it's just references. I think, you know.
Oh yeah, I use it for reference. I don't use it for anything else because I'm very aware that it's taking away my cognitive ability to think for myself. So like I use it for the tasks that I know how to do, but I can't be asked to do. I'm like, you do this bit, I'll do the important bits over here.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to use it for at the moment. But I am hopeful that obviously with the way that the world's going and how like the world's sort of probably going to end pretty soon, that when the internet goes down, it's gone. No one's going to care about it. It's going to be vanished into nothing, isn't it, again? So,
well, let's hope. Let's hope it's not like the Terminator.
No,
But
that would be bad.
But I just think, you know, I have not Googled yet about a dinosaur and a dinosaur farting. I'm still willing to let my brain digest on.
Yeah, I feel like I just want to think about it for a while, actually. Keep it unknown, yeah, and have a little think about that one, because that's a belter, Silly Goose. Probably one of my favourites we've had so far. Really good. I love this. Quality. Right.
Okay.
Well, on that note, seeing as I've kept you for nearly an hour and a half at this point, where can people find you if they want to follow along your journey, and anything that you want to promote or say on the podcast? Get it said now.
Oh, well, if you might be sorely disappointed, but I think I'm at ToughGal20 on Instagram. I occasionally post things. I have actually just done my second part of my comp rundown today. I've managed to do that. So I do pop various bits and pieces on there. Yeah, that's all really. I don't do lots of social media, but if you do see me, come and say hello, send me a message. I'm always happy to have a chat. I'm usually the one that looks like a scared rabbit in headlights at competition. I'm like this. But yeah, I'm not scary really, even though my husband says I am. I'm really not. I'm really not scary. I'm probably more scared, a bit like, an insect, more scared of you than you should be of me, really.
I love that. Comparing yourself to an insect. I'm like an insect.
Yeah, but that's all. No, and thanks for listening to my waffle for an hour and a half, really.
No, thank you so much. Well, thank you for being on the podcast. It has been a pleasure. I've thoroughly enjoyed this podcast. Class Silly Goose as well. But yeah,
great.
I hope you all enjoyed listening. All of Suzanne's information will be in the show notes below. And yeah, hope you enjoyed listening, and we will see you all on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Strongwoman Highs, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to support the podcast, then please give us a follow on Instagram. Or if you would like, we're also on buymeacoffee.com/Strongwoman Highs. This is where you can send us tips, or you can also join our membership area, which is $5 a month or £4 a month. It's the silly gosling level. We'll post out any extra content that we get on there, and hopefully a few little free giveaways of things as well. The podcast currently doesn't cost a lot to run, which is what we're trying to keep it as. But we would like to be able to cover our costs, and also once those costs are covered, any profit that is made on Strongwoman Highs will be getting saved up and put into a pot for future Strongwoman competitions that we can sponsor. So if you have a Strongwoman competition that you'd like to be sponsored, or if you want to be on the podcast, then give us a shout, send me a message on Instagram or on YouTube, anywhere else you can get us, and we'll get it sorted, because the more women that we can get on, the better. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye!